Jim Carrey teaches us a lot to learn. One of Hollywood's biggest comedians didn't always have so much to laugh about. The youngest child of 4 children in a family of some French-Canadian roots, Jim was born as James Eugene Carrey on January 17, 1962 in Newmarket, Ontario, Canada to Percy and Kathleen Carrey. Unfortunately for Carrey, his family's struggles took a toll on his own well-being. As a preteen his father lost his job, so he and his siblings took jobs at a factory cleaning machines to help make ends meet while he was in high school. Eventually, the rigorous schedule took a toll, and he fell behind enough that he decided to quit school. When the family eventually lost their home, Carrey, his parents and his 4 siblings lived in a van. Forbes reports that he now makes around $20 million per film. Some of the motivational quotes that inspires many. I know this sounds strange, but as a kid, I was really shy. Painfully shy. The turning point was freshman year, when I was the biggest geek alive. No one, even talked to me. I practiced making faces in the mirror and it would drive my mother crazy. She used to scare me by saying that I was going to see the devil if I kept looking in the mirror. That fascinated me even more, of course. Jim Carrey. I got a lot of support from my parents. That's the one thing I always appreciated. They didn't tell me I was being stupid, they told me I was being funny. Jim Carrey. Originality is really important. Jim Carrey. Before I do anything, I think, well, what hasn't been seen? Sometimes, that turns out to be something ghastly and not fit for society. And sometimes that inspiration becomes something that's really worthwhile. Jim Carrey. Desperation is a necessary ingredient to learning anything, or creating anything. Period. If you ain't desperate at some point, you ain't interesting. Jim Carrey. For some reason I did something where I realized I could get a reaction. That was when I broke out of my shell at school, because I really didn't have any friends or anything like that and I just kind of was going along, and then finally I did this zany thing, and all of a sudden I had tons of friends. Jim Carrey. I refuse to feel guilty. I feel guilty about too much in my life but not about money. I went through periods when I had nothing, so somebody in my family has to get stinking wealthy. Jim Carrey. People need motivation to do anything. I don't think human beings learn anything without desperation. Jim Carrey. 7 million? But that never happened. If anything, it made me rebel against that thing when people who get rich start playing it safe. Jim Carrey. I feel like I want to take care of everyone and I also feel this terrible guilt if I am unable to. And I have felt this way ever since all this success started. Jim Carrey. I haven't been as wild with my money as somebody like me might have been. I've been very safe, very conservative with investments. I don't blow money. I don't have a ton of houses. I know things can go away. I've already had that experience. Jim Carrey. I wake up some mornings and sit and have my coffee and look out at my beautiful garden, and I go, remember how good this is. Because you can lose it. Jim Carrey. I learned many great lessons from my father, not the least of which was that you can fail at what you don't want, so you might as well take a chance on doing what you love. There is a huge difference between a dog that is going to eat you in your mind and an actual dog that's going to eat you. I'm making a conscious choice to see challenges as beneficial so that I can deal with them in the most productive way. I think everybody should get rich and famous and do everything they ever dreamed of so they can see that it's not the answer. If you aren't in the moment, you are either looking forward to uncertainty, or back to pain and regret. Either you're the one erasing or you're the one being erased. Desperation is a necessary ingredient to learning anything, or creating anything. Period. If you ain't desperate at some point, you ain't interesting. Life opens up opportunities to you, and you either take them or you stay afraid of taking them. As far as I can tell, it It's just about letting the universe know what you want and then working toward it while letting go of how it comes to pass. It is better to risk starving to death and surrender. If you give up on your dreams, what's left? My focus is to forget the pain of life. Forget the pain, mock the pain, reduce it, and laugh. I don't believe in hope. Hope is a beggar. Hope walks through the fire, faith leaps over it. So many of us choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality. What we really want seems impossibly out of reach, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. I'm the proof that you can ask the universe for it. It is better to risk starving to death than surrender. If you give up on your dreams, what's left?